What's going on? TK here, and this is going to be a world tour of everything I've done in space astronomy. So, I am by no means an expert in modern Minecraft, but I do have fun with mods, especially tech mods. And I thought I'd share with you guys everything I've done in this world, because I've done a lot over the past month or so, from January to early February of 2024. So yeah, anyways, I should get started with the world tour. Let me start with this farming area, and then I'll talk about my base and everything else. So here I have my sugarcane farm, and over here I have my general farm, my basic farm for blackberries, vanilla seeds, carrots, potatoes, blueberries, tomatoes, and lettuce. Now most of these crops are for growing food that allows me to make a particular food from a specific mod. It's a delighted meal, and I'll explain it. For the delighted meal, I need to make fries, so I get potatoes from this farm, and a smoothie, I can either use blackberries or blueberries for the smoothie, and then for the hamburger, I have lettuce and tomatoes, which I'm growing here, and so on and so forth. I already have the beef, and I already have the cheese. If you see here, the milk cows. So yeah, it's by no means a quick or efficient farm. Maybe it's efficient, maybe it isn't, but it gets the job done. And if I go into my ME system, you can see I have plenty of resources here, vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. So if I wanted to make a delighted meal, I can, no problem. Look, autocraft. Alright, now let me move on to the sugarcane farm. It's pretty simple. I just have a bunch of lines of sugarcane next to water. I'm using harvesters. And for this, I can't use fertilizers. The MFR fertilizer machine, like here. So it has to grow naturally, the vanilla Minecraft way. So, but it's doing its thing, as you can see. 10,000 sugarcane. So, let me go down here, and I'll show you the inner workings of this complicated and messy design. I wouldn't say this farm is very efficient or like clean, but it works. So now for every harvester, there are pipes that pump or transport these fluids, or I should say sludge, into sludge boilers here. There's 3 right here. And that's for every harvester. There's a tree farm over there that harvests trees quickly, and it produces sludge, so it has to go into these pipes and into here. It's a byproduct. Now I'm using cryostabilized flux ducts for most machines in my base and farms, so yeah, it's expensive. And I do have impulse item ducts sending the byproducts like clay, netherrack, soul sand, dirt, mycelium, into the tesseract, and it's sending into the ME system. There's a channel called resource collect, and there's a crystal chest inside the ME system, my base, and it sends right into the exports right into the system. So it's nice. And over here, I do have a chest, crystal chest, that takes items from the harvester. And at first, it either goes into here. First, it goes into the planter, replenishes the stock here, and then when it's full, it will go into the tesseract resource collect. And here I have it automatically transferring the wheat and the industrial hemp fiber. Though I don't use immersive engineering, I didn't really use this mod in this mod pack. So, and over here I have a filter. Ender IO goes a long way with the filters and conduits. Not saying these conduits aren't worse, but you know, these are awesome. So I have another filter that gets rid of poisonous potatoes with the extra utilities trash can. Okay. So yeah, anyways, and you might be wondering, how do I fertilize the farm right here? The planter right here? And that's simple. I have a bunch of sewer blocks from MFR, and it sends all the sewage into these 3 composters, and it produces industrial fertilizer, though it's not very quick. But due to how slow the fertilizer and the harvester and the planters are, it can keep up. So you can see, it keeps up. Before I used to have stacks upon stacks of the industrial fertilizer, but now it's just non-existent. But that's okay. And I can admit that this is overkill to have this many sewers, but it's okay. And the reason why I have conveyor belts from immersive engineering is because in the past I would have sheep glitch into the blocks, concrete blocks, and they would escape the enclosure here. Every time I would reload the world, or sometimes reload the chunk, they would be inside the block, and then occasionally they would just pop out. So this is so that they can't rub against the walls right here and escape. So this is to keep them in. Maybe not the best containment feature or design, but it works, so I left it like that. And over here I have cows. I used to have more cows, I think. But anyways, I have a rancher here, and this collects the milk so that I can auto craft the delighted meal. And currently I have it off with this lever. But yeah, I would have milk being sent, milk collect as a channel. So yeah, that's that. And then next, probably my best design, I guess. Maybe not efficient, but it works. So my tree farm, I'm growing 2 types of trees. Regular oak leaves, regular oak tree. And then a regular, not a regular, but the rubber wood tree from MFR. And I have a harvester. One harvester is enough to keep up. It's a little slow, but it's not too slow. And fortunately enough, it does harvest the entire tree. So I don't have to worry about that. And it's because I also have a radius increase upgrade. Now, unlike the farm over there, I am not using a fertilizer machine. I'm using autonomous activators, and it has bone meal. Now, I have the AE2 system. I'll show this eventually. But I have the AE2 system automatically exporting bone meal, and it has a crafting card where it will tell the AE2 system to send bone meal and craft it if there's none in the drives system, which in this case there's none. But see, I have an auto craft for bone meal, and occasionally I'll have a crafting status show up. See, saw that right there, and it will export bone meal into these to replenish this. So rather than crafting and wasting my bones, I have it only crafting when this is not full. So yeah, and I went with this because it's easy enough to set up. It's efficient and quick, and I use right click with aim high mode so that it can grow, fertilize the saplings and do this process, and it's worked quite well. I have 107,000 oak wood, and As you can see, I have a bunch of resources here. It's complicated, this sorting system. Not really. I thought it was when I first set it up, but now it's fine. I have it so that it doesn't shear leaves because in my previous playthrough in Crash Landing, I needed leaves. In that pack, you need leaves to create water and then water to hydrate yourself at all times, but that's not a problem with this pack. So I only have it collecting apples, wood, both types, rubber wood and oak wood, and the saplings. Now, the saplings is kind of it was kind of difficult to work with because over time it would accumulate so many saplings that it would fill the chest, and that wasn't good. But I also wanted to make sure that the planters were always restocked, so what I did was I had filters on each side, one for the oak sapling and one for the rubber tree sapling. And how it works is, for both sides, how it works is I have Ender IO conduits that would first send saplings into the planter, and then when it's fully replenished, it's just like the farm over there. When it's fully replenished, it will go into the trash can and dispose of the excess saplings so that it doesn't clog this. Because if it's clogged, it'll stop. Eventually, it will stop the collection of wood because the MFR machine can't send the items to here. So, and next, I have another filter here that extracts these things, these items, and it sends it to resource collect channel. And I also have the other tesseract here where it bone meal send channel, and it sends into the autonomous activators, and that's how I keep the autonomous activators replenished. A little bit of a tongue twister. And I also have another tesseract here to send sludge to the sludge boilers because I don't want to run a cable or a pipe all the way over there. It's kind of expensive. These pipes are expensive. So yeah, that's my farming area. Now I can go show my personal building, though it's ugly and there's nothing too special about it. But it has my tinker stuff, my smeltery here. I have a lava fabricator that creates lava with my energy. So I always have a full smeltery lava, so that's not a problem. Yeah, I do have my tools here. I have a bunch of slime tools. From killing the king slime, I could go into this, but there is a mod that allows you, Quarry Plus allows you to hook or place a spawner using a porta spawner from MFR, and you place it on top of the spawner controller, and you can spawn any type of mob. In this case, I spawned the king slime multiple times, whatever it's called. I think yeah, king slime. And I would harvest it, or farm it, I should say, for experience and golden hearts, yellow hearts. But I think I had enough yellow hearts by then, so I just did for experience because I didn't have a grinder producing XP. But yeah, I use cobalt and ardite to produce this material, and I have a lot of it. That's quite a bit. And yeah, I have all my casts here and my pattern chest and everything else. So not too crazy, but it works for me. And up here I just have my bed. And I have my enchanting plus. This is ridiculous. To me it's kind of overpowered because I can put any enchant I want in the game, I think. And I use this to enchant my obsidian armor from Mechanism. So yeah, Nothing too special other than that. Now, I think I can go into my base and talk about my base. Alright, this is the main part of the area, my base, because it has my applied energistics brain here. I could say it's the brain. And it has crafting terminal, pattern terminal, interface terminal, and fluid terminal. I house all my items here. That is why I have these turrets here. Tier 5 ones. They're laser turrets, and they have upgrades, though it doesn't show them for some reason. Every time I reload the world, little damage add-on indicators are for some reason taken away. But yeah, as you can see, I made it so that it has enough range so that if there are any mobs that come in here, they'll get attacked by these lasers and they won't do anything. So I don't know how effective it'd be against a creeper, because the creeper has a lot of health. But fortunately I never had that problem, so. But yeah, I do have 4 turrets, and I also have 2 on top. And this is my favorite floor because it has all the auto crafting here. E2 room. So. And I also have 2 turrets up here. And I have my portal frame to the miner's world. And the last millennium. I'll show this a little later. This has some of my most important setups. And Deep Dark, I didn't really use this that much. So yeah, I don't not a huge fan of this design, though. I do like the Skystone bricks. So, and I do have a lot of drives. A lot of them are starting to be full, or they're getting filled up. And they're 16K. Most are 16K storage cells, with the exception of this one. I did craft this in one of my playthroughs, or one of my videos. I'll show that video in my 60-minute or longer video of me making this nonsense. It's kind of ridiculous. That video should be out already. I have a bunch of drives that are mostly empty. I also have fluid storage drives. 4K ones. I don't want to go with 16K or any more of that. I think I got this from a quest. Or I had to do this for a quest. Craft one, and I just, yeah, why not put it there? I'll go over the auto crafting. So over here I have mechanism. I have a bunch of machines. It might not be the best setup, best design, though it did the job. So, oops, glitchy wall. And I have infusers, smelting factory, osmium compressor, metallurgic infuser, enrichment chamber, crushing factory, and a setup over here to automatically produce HDPE sheets for the solar neutron activator. That's for mechanism. For the infusers, I use diamond chests. You can use any type of chest, but I use a chest and conduits because for auto crafting, for example, like the atomic alloy, you need to put 2 items here, such as the reinforced alloy and refined obsidian dust. And you need to put it into certain places, like the obsidian dust. Refined obsidian dust goes into the purple slot for infusing, and you put the diamond alloy, the enriched alloy, no, reinforced alloy, into these red slots, and it would turn that into atomic alloy, and it would import it into the system. And I have multiple infusers so that it can create more than one alloy at the same time. So I have 2 infusers for producing enriched iron and then steel dust, and then I have a steel dust that can go into here. Wait, here. Yeah. I also have rubber and rubber plastic, raw plastic. And out of all these machines, I think the most complicated setup was this right here to produce the HDPE pellet. That's because I needed to create ethylene, and to create ethylene, I need to have biofuel with hydrogen and water inside the PRC, pressurized reaction chamber, and it would produce ethylene as a byproduct. And the ethylene, I think it's a byproduct. If it's not, yeah, but I think that's what this is. What was that? Not sure what that was. But anyways, I would have ethylene, and then it would go into this rotary condensator, and I need to turn that into liquid ethylene. The liquid ethylene would go into the PRC, and with substrate I can produce the HDPE pellets. You need 3 of those to create 1 HDPE sheet. So that's why I have a whole lot of liquid ethylene stored in these pipes. In this too. And this as well. So in that case, I use 1 electrolytic separator for the PRC, for the biofuel, ethylene, and then oxygen for over here, the actual HDPE pellets. And how I get the biofuel is pretty simple. I have an exporting biofuel, and I produce biofuel with rotten flesh. I have a lot of rotten flesh here, taking advantage of my grinder. So the crusher would have or create biofuel 2 from 1 rotten flesh, and then this would always export. There's a crafting card in here, so whenever this is not full, it will request biofuel to be produced from the crusher, and once it's replenished, it will stop taking rotten flesh from the ME system. So yeah, it's basically automated, automized. And yeah, that's the mechanism. Machines, very nice. Would do this again. Pretty simple. And I'm using cryostabilize for most of the machines, except the IC2 crafting, which I'll show soon. And okay, now I will go into the thermal expansion machines. I had a lot of trouble with this. I think this was one of the first major auto crafting areas. Just because I needed to create my jet plate. I wanted to auto craft the jet plate, and I can, if I show you right now. See, I am capable. But yeah, I'll show that soon. I have my pulverizer. It pulverizes basically everything that I need, such as shiny ingots to create Enderium blend. I have the induction smelter, probably one of the most important machines because it produces hardened glass. Yeah, shiny ingots. Well, that's to create 3, but this Enderium for sure, and flux electrum ingots, and armor plating to make my jet plate. Using a tier 4 jetpack with a Enderium jet plate material. And I have a redstone furnace so that I can create ingots specifically with blends that will work. Because if you type in bronze, what I mean by that is if you type in bronze blend, there's like, well, I guess there's only one. No, see, there's 2. So I didn't want to use any other because I was afraid I was going to produce this bronze or this type, because I wanted to use this one because I do have issues in this pack with conflicting recipes. So I could have installed a mod to fix that, but I just went with the flow. I did what I could. I also have the bread here to create toast. And I think, yeah, the most complicated area of this section, auto crafting, the magma crucibles. Now here I use ME fluid level emitters, and I'll explain how this works. So for example, I have a water collection electric pump from Mechanism. It collects water, but rather than filling up all my fluid drives with water, this tells the import bus with a redstone signal, active with a signal, to only pump fluids, water in this case, out of the pump as long as there's less than 64,000 or 64 buckets of water. So if there's more than this, more than 64 buckets, it will not emit a level redstone signal, and it will stop this. But if this is less than 64, it will emit a level or a redstone signal. So that's how I can control my fluids and maintain. If I go over here, I apologize for the lag. My base is not very optimized. For some reason, as I said with my base optimization, there's issues with chunk loading, so sometimes the fluid level emitters will be on even though it's reached its level, which in this case is 64,000. But sometimes it pumps more water than it should. That's the case for most of these. But it's so that it's relatively controlled. There's probably a better way of doing this, but it's fine. And I use 2 magma crucibles, cryophium, cobblestone for lava, and fluid import bus, water, and destabilized redstone, and the pearls, and glowstone as well. So yeah, rather than having multiple magma crucibles, I use 2. And over here I have my fluid transposers, and they're all filled with designated liquids using a fluid export bus, energized glowstone, resident ender, destabilized redstone, cryophium, gelid cryophium. And I have auto crafts here, just like the cryo-stabilized flux duct. I have glowstone elevation unit and these other impulse item ducts. Tesseract, probably one of the most important, and this too. And another reason why I have this fluid system going is because I have fluid autocrafts. Not too many of them, but there are some. If I shift, I need lava I need lava buckets for the crusher from Mechanism. And rather than requesting lava buckets, it can just request lava source from the system, and it'll just do that instead of using buckets. Same thing for the cheese. Instead of milk buckets, it'll take milk. And over here I have stuff for the blends, the various blends. And the thrusters, these require buckets of fluid. So yeah, that's why I have this here. Not that many, but that's because I don't need that many. Yeah. And that concludes thermal expansion over here. So I probably should have started with the auto crafting, the basic, but I do have 4 towers, and each houses 4 64K crafting storages. So there's a total of 4, 8, 12, 16. And I have a bunch of co-processing units. I could have a display crafting unit, but I didn't bother with that because I can just go here and check my crafting progress. But I do have 8 towers of my interfaces and molecular assemblers. I do realize, and I understand that this is probably not the best way of using interfaces and molecular assemblers, but I like the design and I didn't need too many crafts. I'm kind of lying there, but yeah, I tried to organize it by mod, like Mechanism, Ender.io, and IC2, but it kind of spilled over some mods. Yeah, this is IC2. But it's okay. I do like the design though, but sometimes I do need to put I don't know why I didn't put that there. Maybe that's why mob spawn, but I need to light these up. But yeah. I do like the design. Maybe in future packs with harder progression, I'd probably use more expert packs. For example, I'd probably use more of these crafting units and a better design for the molecular assemblers and interfaces, but it works for me in this pack at least. So over here I have the AE2 auto crafting. I must say that this was a little annoying to set up, but this is for my charged Certus Quartz crystal, and I have 3 of them. So I have interfaces that puts the Certus Quartz in here, and then when it's done, it will import out. And I have specifically importing charged Certus Quartz because if I didn't specify the type of item, it would import the quartz without creating a charged one first, so I didn't want that. And over here, I'm using AE2 stuff. I really like this crystal growth chamber. I have a bunch of crafts here, various pure crystals and the flux crystal. And this is pretty quick. So for example, if I request, you'll see how this works. It puts the items in here, and look how quick it is. It's much quicker, I think, than 5 growth accelerators. There we go. So it crafts the seeds, and then it puts it in here, and when it's done, it's put back, exported into system, import. So there we go. I like this block. And I guess we'll go over here. The crushing factory. It has some simple crafts, auto crafts, like silicon, niter, and these other. These are important to make these seeds, as I showed you the pure crystals and flux crystal. And over here I have an enriching factory. It's just clay, because I have a bunch of clay blocks. If I can show you. It's a lot of clay blocks. And I have obsidian dust, glowstone, and yeah, that's it. And over here, very important to have the inscribers. You can say it however you want to say it. But these produces my processors, like the logic, calculation, and engineering. I have 3, so one produces the logic press, silicon, and the actual logic press itself. And I have 3 for times 3 for a total of 9. And I use Ender.io ME conduits to power all of them by using an energy acceptor with a tesseract. And I use this annoying setup here with these item conduits. It looks ugly, but it's because I use an online guide to make this. I wanted a good way to produce calculation and engineering and all that stuff. And the original setup did not include these extra pipes here. But the problem was that it wasn't working. Like, it wasn't producing the processors that I needed. So it would get stuck. So I had to use this to force the system to export whatever it was crafting here. But yeah, it works. Though sometimes it does get stuck. However, it's nice to have, so. And it's done me more good than bad, I would say. And yeah, that concludes AE2 over here. Quickly, I'll go over here. I used to have nether stars being produced here. Not anymore. I took away the export buses just because it was taking away my soul sand. I needed the soul sand for something else. Ender.io related. But yeah, I have a bunch of nether stars. I didn't really use many, but I have more than enough. This is fun fact. This is the most nether stars I've ever had in Minecraft, and I've never even had more than like 4 at a time. So this is crazy to me. Though in an expert pack, this is probably nothing. I think. So yeah, I would have wither skeleton skulls, soul sand. I know that this is everything. A lot of things I'm doing are not very efficient or could be done in better ways, but you know, it worked for me, so yeah. Yeah, I don't see many people use this. I don't think this is a very well-known mod. Practicalities, I could be wrong, but at least in 1.7.10. But it's very handy if you want to produce nether stars. Assuming you have a grinder for wither skeleton skulls. Anyways, I have my Ender IO auto crafting here, and I'll just go over this quickly. I have various alloys and ingots. Most notably the energetic alloy and the vibrant alloy. To make my capacitors, the maxed, this one. And I also have a slice and splice for my Z-Logic controller. This is so that I can make spawners, though. This was set up very late in the pack to the point where I didn't really need to do that anymore, but it's fine. And now IC2. This is using IC2 experimental. I say that because you notice that I'm using ultimate universal cables from Mechanism. And that's because, as I said, it's experimental and it doesn't need like those other blocks like transformers or whatever, like energy things. I don't have the upgrade for that to allow it to handle more power. So if this was regular IC2, it probably would, all these machines would blow up probably. But in this case, this is like an easy dumbed down version, so I don't need to worry about that. I just wanted to play around with IC2. I am by no means an expert with IC2. I just wanted to learn some things. Yeah, various autocrafts like this. Coolant cell to produce my overclocking upgrades. And I use some basic machines like the metal former, compressor, macerator. And I have this automatically exporting uranium from my laser drill farm. And it turns everything into uranium-238 and tiny piles of uranium-235. This is to create enriched, I think. Enriched uranium nuclear fuel. And over here I have my mass fabricators. These use a crap ton of power. I have 6 of them. And they produce UU matter. And I can replicate stuff with a replicator, pattern storage, scanner. I use this specifically to produce plutonium. And this is a quantity that I needed to create each. And I did this because plutonium is very difficult to make if you're not doing this, if you use IC2 reactors. I'll show that in a second. It's very time consuming and ridiculously long, so this is probably one of the best ways, or it is the best way if you have a crap ton of power. And I have a drum right here, a bunch of buckets. So yeah, let me go to the IC2 reactor. I have a reactor facility with IC2 reactors. They are offline. Only one is offline. The other one is like disabled, not operational. But one can be. Here it is, the MOX reactor. And I had another one just to produce the plutonium. This does not collect, or this does not send power to anything. But if I were to turn it on, it produces 1045 EU a tick. This was for fun. But the reason why I put this far away, just in case if there was a meltdown, I can't talk. If there was a meltdown, it wouldn't affect my base. Though that hasn't been the case. Let me just make sure I did turn it off. It's off. Okay. But yeah, I like the design. Secluded area. Apologies for the lag. My base is laggy. So yeah, I wanted to show the network visualization tool, and yeah, I can admit I made one heck of a mess. A spaghetti mess. This is a spaghetti system. This is what the Italian's dream looks like. Spaghetti mess. Spaghetti. But I In all honesty, I would redo all of this, but it's the end of this pack. I did every quest and did everything I wanted to do. So, yeah, but it did this job. But I recognize that if I wanted to do this in the future, I would have to use P2P tunnels. I did not use any P2P tunnels. If I show, I don't have any P2P links. So I'll keep that in mind in the future. If I play expert packs, I'll make sure I'm organized and yeah, not like this, but it does the job. And I use different colored cables. I like the way this looks, even though it's probably very annoying to look at. But in here I have my security access terminal with my wireless access point, and it has a range of 528 meters. And I have my quantum link. This goes to the portal to the last millennium. And over here I have my resource collect tesseract channel. And you can see it sends a variety of things in there. Ingots, ores, plants, vegetables, fruits, all that nice stuff. And I have here another export bus that sends uranium, or I mean not uranium, yellorium, big reactors into my offline reactor. And here, bone meal. This is what I was talking about. It's a crafting card earlier. My farm, it crafts bone meal when it needs to replenish the autonomous activators. So yeah, I have that there. And this is for gunpowder. This is for my 5x ore processing from mechanism. Oh look, I hit 300k redstone. Awesome. And as you can see, I'm starting to lose gunpowder. I used to have like 157,000 gunpowder stored, but my 5x ore processing is faster than my grinders. So not a problem though, because I'm done playing this world. And over here I have my milk collect fluid import bus and ender pearls for my world anchors. Let me show that real quick. I know I'm kind of going off topic a lot, or I'm changing areas too much, but I have a chunk loaders, and this is from Railcraft. I used MFR chunk loaders, and the problem with those is that every time I would reload the world, they would get messed up, and I would have to reset the chunk loading configuration. But this automatically does this thing, I think. Maybe not automatically, but all I need to do is just reload the dimensions in the world, and this will be ready to go. And I have a bunch all around the base just to make sure everything's chunk loaded, especially these. This is brine production. This is for the 5x ore processing. Yeah, 4 maybe overkill, but so that I can keep up. And I have lithium production for my fusion reactor from mechanism, tritium. So yeah, let's see. Before I leave the spaghetti room, I have tesseracts here for sorting my items for my grinders, mob grinder items, and there's 2 different channels. One for the auto spawners, or in this case, the Ender IO powered spawners, and this one is like the general spawner. And then I have sending into these deep storage units, and as you can see, I've accumulated quite a lot of mob drops. And this trash can over here is just so that I can dump anything I don't want. And there's a filter here to not send these items. And I have a lot of hearts, red hearts. So yeah, as long as this blacklisted or whatever mode this is, I don't have to worry about losing those items, because I did want those for time. And yeah, here are my deep storage units. Yeah, for some reason, some of the deep storage units are not doing a good job. Probably some issues here and there, but it's okay. As you can see, I have more spider eyes. So there's a bunch of spider eyes in the system, not here, but that's okay. And I also have deep storage units over here. Cobblestone, I have 55 million. Stained glass. And obsidian, I have a lot of these. 1.6, 1.5, 410,000. Just so that I never have to worry about these resources ever again. And that yeah, overkill. But now how I'm producing cobblestone and how I made the sand and glass, I had a crusher and like a smelting factory here, or 4, and it was because of this transfer node. Man, these are awesome. But I use this also from crash landing, for my knowledge of crash landing, and yeah, it's helped along a lot. All right, leaving the spaghetti mess. Here's my machine room. Not too much going on. I wanted to do more, but as I said, this base is laggy. If I pull up my F3 mode menu, it's FPS does drop quite a lot. You see the FPS dropping. Not the most efficient base design. It's really bad. I learned my lesson not to put all my machines and everything into a 3x2 chunk. As you can see, it's exactly 6 chunks. But I learned that I need to spread my machines out to avoid this lag and low FPS. So yeah, so I have some basic machines here and there. I can charge my jet plate if I wanted to. Some other machines where I made my powered spawners, MFR and Galacticraft. Now this over here, I use extra utilities to make my magnum torches, because I have 4. I had a slime problem because this was in a slime chunk, of course. Like, what else could go wrong, right? But this was in a slime chunk. So I use these to prevent slimes from spawning around, so I'm good now. Okay, and before I leave, I just want to show my reactor. Yeah, I see 2 machines over here. Yeah, I have, well, this design here. And this is enough to produce 8,000, or enough to, more than, I think might be more than enough for 4 turbines. But this produces steam. Originally I had a different reactor that would just produce energy, but this produces steam. So it would send steam to my turbines. And this is using recycled water from my big reactor turbines. I have 4, just so I can keep up. Because I don't think this was enough, but it was just like a loop. And I originally had a cyanide processing station here, but that's gone now. And it would collect or send Delorium, and it would collect the cyanide. I don't have any at the moment. And okay, here are my turbines. Ludicrite. Each produces like around 28,000 RF. So this was my main power source up until I got my fusion reactor running, and they served me very well. And I have a bunch of tesseracts here, some for collecting steam and sending water, recycled water, and then energy. I use Ludicrite, as I said already. Best coil block, I think. Yep. Alright, my grinders. More than one. I have pretty big area right here. I'm using Cursed Earth, okay? And I'm using Open Blocks fans to push the mobs off the Cursed Earth. And I use Cursed Earth with this dark glass so that the mobs spawn quicker. And while they're more aggressive, using this dark area will allow me to have a bunch of mobs, and it served me very well. Well, apart from the glowstone, I'll show that over there. And I have 3 grinders. I used to have 1, but 1 wasn't enough. It wouldn't keep up, and it would cause lag because all the entities, mobs inside. But it's doing its thing. You can hear the mobs dying probably. Maybe not because it's sound muffler. I think the grinders are full. No, they're not. And originally I used MFR conveyor belts, but this time I used immersive engineering because I had a clipping problem When I say clipping, I mean the spiders and all the other mobs would clip into the wall, and they would pop out, and they would cause havoc, or yeah, cause problems in my base, and I didn't want that. So fortunately enough, the immersive engineering conveyor belts don't glitch the mobs into the walls, the thin walls. Over here, I have 3 autonomous activators with cleavers, and each cleaver, or all the cleavers, I should say, have enough modifiers that do 32 attack damage, looting 3 on all of them, and the most important modifier, flux. I use a hardened capacitor so that these could be charged, and rather than using durability, because in the past I would have had to manually replace the durability, repair each cleaver, and I used to use battle axes as well, but this would allow me to have a system where I can use vibrant capacitor banks from Ender IO, and there's a filter, a specific filter, where I can take the cleavers out at a certain level. So if it's less than 25% capacity, which in this case RF, 100,000, less 100,000 out of 400,000, you would take it out, put it into the capacitor bank, charge it up, and then when it's done, there's another conduit. It's kind of hard to see. Right there, as you can see, there's a conduit. It goes back into the autonomous activator. So I can allow these to keep running forever, never know, and never have a problem, as long as there's always energy being supplied. So that's nice. I don't have to worry about that anymore, durability anymore. And I use open blocks vacuum hoppers to send experience into the open blocks tanks, and then it also sent to the crystal chest into the disrect for each. And I have a whole lot of mob essence, 35 million. 35.5 million. It's a lot of liquid XP, and I just shower myself with experience like that. And yeah, my experience was glitched every time I reload the world, but yeah. I also have mob essence from over there, I think. This was for my enchanting, auto enchanting and disenchanting, I think, from MFR. I have a whole lot of mob essence here. I'm using Bedrockium drums. Oh yeah, speaking of those Bedrockium drums, I forgot to mention this, but these molecular assemblers here for crafting compressed cobblestone, so I can make Bedrockium ingots. Not efficient design for that, but it works. It worked for me. And so I have power spawners, Ender IO coming in clutch. I have blazes, skeletons, witches, spiders, and over here I used auto spawners because Ender IO doesn't allow you to auto spawn, or in this case spawn with electricity wither skeletons, so I had to use this, but it works. This keeps up. I used to have 5 auto spawners, but it wouldn't keep up. There wasn't enough mob essence being produced, so 3 is more than enough. And same thing over here, cleavers. But these cleavers are a little bit different. They do less damage, but they have beheading, so 50% chance. So, but more than enough damage. And I also have a little auto spawning area. I use this for the pink slimes to make my laser drills for MFR. And yep, that's it. I use this to repair my tools. I mean, not tools, but armor. Using refined obsidian. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay. And here, originally I had my MFR laser drills, but I moved them to the portal to the last millennium dimension because it's all the lag. It's already lagging here. You can see my frame drop occasionally. Yep. Oh, I don't think I talked about the Galactic Craft, but I do have my Galactic Craft machines here. Fabricator, compressors, refinery. I had like a Bedrockium drum of oil using a endothermic pump, and I would go to various oil ponds or little areas where I have a pool of oil, and I would extract oil with this using a bedrockium drum and tesseract, and it was very quick. And I would then use 4 or 5, I should say, produce all my gasoline fuel for my rockets, and this is more than enough. And then over here I have my oxygen collector and compressor to fill my heavy oxygen tanks. Alright, I think that concludes this area for the most part. And yeah, before I go to the mechanism last dimension I have overkill setup of pumps for my brine, just so I can make chlorine for my hydrogen chlorine production. And then over here I have these thermal towers. I was gonna say thermal evaporation towers, but towers for producing lithium, and I use rotary condensators 3339 for lithium tritium, lithium to tritium, and it sends into the world over there. And I need to make sure that they're all chunk loaded with the world anchor. And I have also additional pumps to support this. And I have resistive heaters instead of fuel wood heaters. I originally wanted to use fuel wood heaters, but then I realized, okay, these are better. They use electricity, it's better, and it keeps temperature at its highest. Just like that. Okay. And let's go here. It's laggy here. Beware, and I apologize for that. I have 48 laser drills producing various, focusing on various ores like emerald, shiny, diamond, coal, redstone, copper, lead, tin, lead, iron, gold, yellorium, glowstone, all the good stuff. Now I have ore processing here. Originally I did a take on a wool tour, but I redid one, which is what I'm doing right now because I didn't show this off, but I have a filter here, and bunch of filters actually, and I have certain stuff where I filter out, where I don't need mana infused ore and biomes plenty ores. I don't need this nonsense. And cheese, as much as I love cheese, but I don't need this cheese ore. And I also have another filter here. This is for my ore processing. So gold, silver, lead, iron, copper, tin, osmium. And I also have here my ardite and uranium, silicon, cobalt. And then the other ores that are not transported are glowstone, redstone, lapis, certus quartz, nether quartz, because like you get 12 I think for the redstone and lapis. Over here I have diamond, coal, emerald. It keeps up these machines. There's no backlog or anything. Yellorite to produce 2 dust, and then it up here I have it set up in a way, configured in a way so that it puts the dust into here, and then it transfers out into the tesseract. Oops, it's very laggy here. And then I also have dash and iridium from more planets. And over here, aluminum, all the kinds of aluminums into here. That's the ore processing. I really like the way this looks, the design. Or not design, but the colors and stuff. How it goes into the void. That literally tells me that's the void, so. Yeah, and over here, there used to be a villager here that, I don't know, maybe the villager died or despawned, I don't know. But I do have, this is where my not molecular, but quantum link chamber is from the other one in the overworld, connecting here. And I can get to access. I also have the range to, get things from my main system if I need to. And here's my 5 times ore processing. I moved it here because of the lag, but yeah. Mechanism, I really like mechanism for the 5 times ore processing, and of course the power generation. But yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is why I have so many ore ingots and ores too, but mainly ingots. 133,000. This is not impressive to expert mod pack players, but maybe to normal mod pack players, like people who play normal mode. This is awesome. A lot of resources, and I won't be using most of them or any of them because this is basically it. I want to play a different pack. Though I do have electrolytic separators separating the chlorine. I made those towers so they can keep up, and hydrogen chlorine. I have 2 of those. And the reason why I'm running out of gunpowder is because, as I mentioned earlier, is because of this constant usage and need to keep up. So to make sulfur trioxide and to make sulfuric acid for my ore processing. I made multiple crystallizers because the crystallizers are slow. As you can see, they're not very quick. This is what max upgrades too. Yeah, and occasionally my crystallizers would clog themselves. It's very annoying, but I use this to extract that, and then it might be a chunk loading issue. But yeah. And yeah, ore processing can keep up. And then also here, I have a unifier because I don't want to have to deal with conflicting recipes because of all the types of ingots. So I have filters and IO, and I have certain ingots that just go in the system because they don't need to be processed. Gold, iron, vanilla, osmium too. Well, osmium mechanism, but yeah. And I have copper, tin, silver, lead from various mods. Like this is IC2, mechanism. Oh, some of them are. I think this is IC2 and IC2. Mechanism, IC2. And I have a preference for thermal foundation ingots. As you can see. Boom, boom, boom. And yep, thank God for the unifier. What to know what to do without it. Okay, and lastly, I guess, for this world, I have my fusion reactor set up. I added more pumps. Maybe this is overkill, and yeah, you can see they're not connected, but they should be, because glitchy nonsense 1.7.10 action. And I have a chemical infuser, DT fuel for my HOROMs, electrolytic separators to keep up with the injection rate. Sorry for the laser. I just want to show the fuel. 98, and it produces 9.78 MFR, 9.78 million RF a tick. And yeah, it's almost 9.8. And I have it fully charged. Sorry for the laser, it's very annoying. It's very annoying, the laser sound. There we go. Laser amplifier. If you can't hear me, my bad. But yeah, there we go. And to keep up with the injection rate, I have more solar neutron activators. Intermission, okay. I have more solar neutron activators here, and I think if I were to have another playthrough or another mod pack series, not a series, but like showcase, I would have all my machines related to producing this tritium in this world, because if this mod is in the mod pack, because it's always daytime, it's always noon, I think. Okay, maybe but it's noon, and these are always active, so I don't need to worry about that. And I already have existing solar neutron activators, as I showed already. Oh, yeah. But in the nighttime, before I just had these and it wouldn't keep up. But with that, solar neutron activators in the mining world, I'm good. So yeah, I think I showed everything other than the rockets. Hold on. Let me just make sure. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, yep. Before I show the rockets, this base, I'm not a huge fan. I like the top part, but ultimately not what I wanted. Though it's kind of interesting, you know, the design, I guess, the walkways and all this nonsense glass. There's a lot of glass. It's kind of cool though. The rockets. 8 tiers available for you to craft in this pack. Well, at least the ones that are not that you need to fuel up. But yeah, at tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's kind of weird that the tier 5 looks smaller than the tier 3, or the tier 4 looks smaller than the tier 3, and so on up until tier 7. But yeah, they look cool. Got more expensive over time. But this tier 8 rocket allows you to go to, wrong button, Sirius B. It's very close to Sirius, a star. Very bright star. Blue star. Yeah. For I should say galactic craft and more planets. Yeah, more planets. It was interesting. It was fun. My very first time actually exploring the universe without cheating in creative mode and spawning in rockets. But yeah, it was fun. Though it was kind of boring at times because there wasn't really much to do other than following the quest book and collecting samples or resources needed to make the rockets. Because if I type in tier 8, as you can see, the heavy duty plates, you need a bunch of stuff like norium and red gem. Keeps going and keeps going, keeps going. Heavy duty. Yeah, there you go. It's a lot. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with space astronomy, and that basically concludes the entire showcase of my world. I had a lot of fun. Too much fun. Might have rushed through the pack, but you know, it's okay. I really enjoyed myself. Oh, glitchiness. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the world tour. Apologies if some areas were too loud and you couldn't hear me, like the laser drill area or the laser for the mechanism fusion reactor, but yeah, and that's my world. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.